So not only does Lynn have the circle garden, but she has multiple gardens throughout her property. This is one of them, and if you see, we just reach back a little bit further, there's a bunch under these trees that she planted herself. We can talk about those more, but you have a really nice pattern here. And are these perennial? Oh, obviously perennials, but it seems like you have a lot of hostas in here. What else do you have in here?
Okay, when I started this garden, I wanted to have a place for grasses, so I've got some grasses that are further out in the sun. And then I also wanted some pollinator plants, not necessarily native. So I do have some native stuff, and I've got some other stuff that's just as pollinator friendly for other reasons. But starting in the back, or in the middle there, you can kind of see, that's the scarlet bee balm that was in the circle garden. I bought it from Halson's Gardens down by Cement City, and they're no longer in business. He wanted to move back to Ireland. I miss that place. They had just great plants. They were a hosta grower, and but he had that, and he said that they actually like shade. So I planted them in shade up here, and they're doing equally as well here as they do in the sun. So then the other thing is that they don't get the powdery mildew that the regular bee balm seems to get. I've got some pictures last year, and maybe you can come back again and when they're in bloom and see that whole bunch of them there was just full of red flowers.
I definitely want to come back because there are so many blooms and changes I want to see in the garden. So I'm really excited for you. And it's amazing the amount of time and work you put into this. I'm overwhelmed with my garden, which is like a 1/10 of this size. So absolutely amazing.
Now you'll notice that I've got swirls of plants here. I don't like straight lines. I hate straight lines, so nothing is planted in straight lines. But I have a story about the next thing out, which doesn't look very well. It got hit by the frost. It's a hosta that's kind of an arc just in front of the scarlet bee balm. That's actually from a plant from when I was 6 years old at my aunt's house. So it has traveled to my mom's house, to my house, and I've just kept it going for over 60 years. And that plant is a species hosta called Plantagenea, and it gets big white flowers. And my brother and I used to like to go to my aunt's house, and before the flowers would open, we would pop them. And we just thought that was so much fun.
Oh my goodness. See, those are great stories to learn and hear about gardens and plants.
And it blooms in August. So, and it gets big leaves. It might even be a plant that's kind of behind some of the plants like Sum and Substance. But, and then there's various hostas here. I've got some bee balm in the front. This is just these are cultivars rather than species. You know, just some of the pretty pink bubblegum ones and so forth. And then off to the side here, I've got some of the coral bells. And I tried to alternate them, a coral bell and a hosta, a coral bell and a hosta, and just kind of have them swirling out from the center of the tree. Just to give you a little story about the tree. The tree was there, and this bed, when I built it, I raised it up. I put probably almost 10 inches of soil in here, which has sunk some, but you really should not bury your tree. So the arborist has always said to me, make sure you have the taper on the bottom of the tree. So I just put the bricks around it so to keep the taper, and I'll probably try and grow something, growing something in there and see what happens.
I've heard that as well, is definitely leave some of the roots exposed. If the roots are coming out of the ground, keep them out of the ground. Like the tree wants to be outside, if that's the situation with your trees.
So now I've got some astilbe, a big arc of astilbe growing here. And then another hosta, and then I've got the fern. This is the Japanese painted fern. And then another hosta. And this was a juga, which was absolutely huge last year. And this year I don't see any at all. So I'll probably look for something different. I'm not sure what happened because it's very rich soil. Maybe it doesn't like the rich soil. I love these. Now these are native. They're native to one county in southwest Michigan. This is the northern sea oats. I cut off all of the actual the flower parts on there, or the little oak parts on there, because if they spread, they get everywhere in the garden. So I usually cut those off in the fall. But they get the most interesting little seed pods, so the flower parts that come off of it. You can use them in dried flower arrangements. They're really, really pretty.
Ooh.
Now this is an ajuga. This is a ajuga chocolate chip. And I moved it when I started to redo another area of my garden, and I put it here. And it's doing really well. It's already blooming.
So many plants.
Yeah.
I see some baptisia back there, or
Yep.
false indigo, blue dye
that's
indigo.
The purple one too, but I don't know if it's got a cultivar name or if it's the native one. I got that from Paulson's. I love lilies, so I've got various lilies coming up here. The Asiatic lilies. I do have a daylily bed, and that's another whole discussion we can have.
So this is a lot in this garden. Let's walk to some of your other gardens.